Hello and welcome. This is the webinar for Manifest Your Thriving Membership in Just 8 Weeks program. I am so excited to be here today to share with you the story of how creating a membership absolutely changed my life and my business, and helped me increase my impact in the world, and how a membership or group program might be a good fit for you to have the same increase in your impact and your income. So, starting with that, I just want to share that. So, I've been a coach for 7 years. I'm a magnetic mind coach, which is a specific neuroscience based process for mindset shifting that rewires your brain for more happiness and success by helping you get clear, crystal clear in what do you want? What's your true desire, like your heart's deepest desire? We use neuroscience based tools to release the resistance, which could be fear, self doubt, procrastination, unworthiness. I teach the practices that you can do every day that help you become a manifesting machine. And then you get into action so you can create your dreams. So it's just a little bit about me. And where it started is I really spent many years only coaching one to one. And I guess it was the first 4 years of my business. I maybe started some little group cohorts, but I didn't really have any successful launches and really found success in one to one. And I love working with people one to one, don't get me wrong. And I found that I was always trading my time for dollars. So I got into this situation where I could either have money or I could have time. And it was either kind of one or the other, depending on my private client load and like, or the amount of clients I had in my practice. And so one of the things I noticed too is I was always like hunting for the next client, because then I would receive their income and I'd have a great month, but then next month, where's that next client one to one coming from? And I felt salesy, I felt pushy, I felt like I was hunting and hustling just to keep ahead. And I had months that were like over $10,000 in income, and I had months that were like under $500 in income. And I was just on this crazy financial roller coaster. I loved working with clients in one to one, but it was very stressful for me. And so I really looked up to these amazing women and these are women thought leaders, and the incredible memberships that they have that help them become $1 million coaches. So Gabrielle Bernstein is on the far left. She has multiple group programs and a membership, and has, tens of thousands of people in her membership. Emily Aarons is in the middle. I'm actually in her membership, and it is an amazing model where she only shows up 1 hour a month, and she has close to 1,000 people in her membership, and she only shows up 1 hour a month. She does have some employees and some coaches that show up more than that, but I love her model that she gets to make the lion's share of thousands of dollars for 1 hour of her time. And then Marie Forleo is on the right. She also has a thriving membership. So I looked at these women who are $1 million coaches and said, how do I become like them? Like, what is it that they're doing that's working so well? And so I really was inspired 3 years ago to start my membership, the Empowered Living Membership, where I use neuroscience to teach people how to be manifesting machines, providing the structure, accountability, support, tools, everything they need to be successful. And so I looked up to these women and really modeled it and decided to invest in business strategists, business coaches. Like, I took classes on how to launch memberships and all of these different things. And what I found is I got a lot of information, but when you're launching a membership or a group program, there's so many different models, there's so many different options. So it took me a while to kind of cobblestone together what was going to work specific for me. So when I teach this program, How to Manifest a Thriving Membership, which is a membership or a group program, whatever you prefer, I really teach many different options, many different schools of thoughts that I gathered from all these people. But anyways, long story short is I started off trading dollars for hours and only having private coaching, and now I have 36 members in my group. I have a high ticket membership that I charge 220, depending on when you started, and we'll talk about that later. Some of the things I do, but new oncoming members into my membership, it's $297 a month to join my membership, which means I have a guaranteed $6,000 of income every month in recurring revenue just from serving the same members. And so if I have 10 people or 150 people, I commit the same amount of hours of work and I absolutely love it. Though what I love even more is I get to have the impact that I truly desire. So that's a little bit my story about the membership and why I'm so passionate about this. I've been helping women for the last 2 years, actually, privately in a one-to-one setting, launch their thriving membership, including bookkeepers and accountants, travel agents, all sorts of different types of people, career counselors and coaches and more, helping them launch their membership. So I just decided this is the second time I'm running this program in a group setting. But really, what I've learned in having a membership that recurring revenue is power. It equals stability in your business, which allows you to, when you feel safe, you can make more calculated risks instead of saying, "Oh, well, let me check my bank account and see if I can do that. Let's see if I can invest in that coach." I don't know. When you have recurring revenue and you know how much is coming up in the next month that you will automatically earn, you can get off of the financial roller coaster and get onto what I call the kiddie coaster, pun intended. So some of the benefits of having a membership or a group program is that they're easily scalable. You can have more clients, which means more impact in the world because the world needs the services you're offering. And so, the more clients that you can have, the more impact you can create, the more you're leaving the world a better place than when you started. And you can stop trading your dollars for hours, which means you have more time freedom. And what's so funny is I had this thought many times is I started being an entrepreneur because I wanted to have time freedom. And then once I got my business going as an entrepreneur, I had zero time freedom. In fact, significantly less than when I had a 9 to 5 job. So, anyways, this is one of the ways that you can create more time freedom. You have consistent monthly income, which is stability in your business. And I mentioned really the power in this is I now have the ability to forecast how much money I'm going to make in my business in the future. So I do about a 6 month forecast, which I calculate based on my private client payment plans, but also my membership. So I know certain months of the year in the next 6 months, I'm going to need something that will create a cash injection in my business. And back when I was doing one-to-one coaching and I was kind of, hunting for the next client, I never knew what I was going to make in the next month. So that stability, I think, goes a long way for supporting you in being the CFO of your business. And the best part is that when you have a membership or a group program, it costs less money to join that sort of an offering than it does for one-to-one coaching. And so it's a lower barrier to entry, which means more clients can get your support and you can spread your knowledge and have even more impact. So, there are there's always pros and cons for everything. So some of the cons or challenges around a membership or group program that I've heard from, friends and coaches and clients and other dots time and time again is that technology can be really confusing. There are so many different options for housing your data, communicating with your clients, how they can communicate with you. There's a variety of different options. So in the Manifest Your Thriving membership program, we actually created this amazing, beautiful rubric and it's not perfectly comprehensive, but it's like the top 10 technologies that you can use and the pros and cons of each, the approximate price points, things like that, that can help you kind of compare which technology you would prefer. And we also talk about what technology is going to work for you in your comfort level, what technology is going to work for your audience, because you certainly don't want to be doing a complicated platform. And Kajabi is not that complicated, but you don't want to be doing Kajabi if your audience is octogenarians. You want to be doing something that's very simple for them, like a one-click sort of situation. What content do I create? And this is a big question because a lot of people, they're like, okay, I have a membership and I would love to do this. And I have 1 month or 3 months of content. How do I keep coming up with content ideas? How do I keep this train rolling? So we actually, in the Thriving, Manifest Your Thriving membership program, we have an entire packet of information about how to think about spelling out your content and creating a journey, like a learning journey or a learning arc for your audience. How much do I charge? This can be really confusing and scary for many different people. You want to make as much money as you can while not creating too high of a barrier to entry. So we talk about how can you do, if you choose to. I certainly didn't. You can choose to do market research and things like that, or you can pick different numbers, and we talk about the psychology of numbers so that you can have a number that psychologically people look, it looks enticing to them. How do I enroll people and how do I get them to stay? This is an art form, and we go through all of the different primary modes, or at least 5 primary modes of enrolling people into a membership, talking about the gold standards and how to utilize them successfully. And then we talk about retention and engagement. So once you've wowed them and they've joined your membership, how do you get to them to stay for whatever duration you desire? For me, I desire lifelong clients in my membership. So I design with the end in mind, and we talk about that. And then there can be so many details. It's could can be so overwhelming. There's contracts, there's onboarding, there's standard operating procedures. There's all these different things that go into a membership and having it be successful that you might not have ever thought about. And so we talk about each and every one of these things in the Manifest Your Thriving membership program. I also provide templates for. I provide template of contracts, my onboarding documents, my SOPs, everything I have, I share in this program. And so if you've always wanted a membership or a group program and you had some of those problems or had some of those objections, I have a solution for you that might be the perfect fit for what you need. And I've kind of mentioned it already, but here's some of the benefits of Manifest Your Thriving membership. This program makes it easy to create a membership. It is literally step by step instructions. It's like a paint by numbers system so that you know exactly the steps. And then we talk about, well, how do you know which steps to take in which order? Because that might be different for you. I support you every single step of the way. And even better, you learn in this program from my modeling. So this Manifest Your Thriving membership is a group program, so you get to see what it's like in action. But I also pull back the curtain of what it's like in my Thriving membership, the Empowered Living membership, sharing with you all my successes and all of my flops that I've had over the years, so you can be successful and you can learn from. They call that secondhand learning. And oh, I already mentioned this, but you get an insider look about what a thriving group looks like and a thriving membership. You get ongoing support and guidance. I am here to answer your questions. I am here to support you every single step of the way. Some more perks of this program is I'm going to help you get clear on what works best for you, because every single person is different. Every single membership is different. And what works for one person might not work for the other. So we go through some of these ideas of, well, how do I know what's going to work with me? And we give you a lot of like pro cons of different models, different structures. So you can look at that pro con list, and then based on what your specific need is, tailor your membership to that. Like, for example, if you love to travel, you might want to have a much more flexible schedule, which means you should look at certain models. If you want to have a fairly structured schedule, you're not worried about traveling, you can do a different model. So we just talk about those certain things of how to make this membership work for your lifestyle. We also spell out in this workbook. We go that because this program comes with obviously teaching, but there's a whole workbook with questions that you can work through. We go through things like, what problems is this membership going to solve? Who is your audience? What are the benefits and results that they're getting from participation? We talk about technology, different systems that you might use, the structure that needed to create a successful membership, marketing options and pricing that'll work for you and your audience. We talk about content creation, community engagement, retention, contracts, onboarding, and so much more. And like I said, this whole program is just to make it simple for you. And so we spell out all these different things and point you in the right direction. So if you design everything and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, I really need help with marketing because this is an area that I don't know how to do, and I'm happy to support you as much as I can, but if my support isn't enough because I'm certainly not a marketing expert, I can point you in the right direction so now you know what to look for to get the support you need." So, just some details about the Manifest Your Thriving membership. There's 8 calls, and they're all recorded. You have lifetime access to the recordings and to the workbook. There's 60-minute live training calls, which I'll do some training, but some of the calls will also include time for Q&A and even co-working. So you can sit and work on answering some of these questions in this workbook, and get support, or you can, examine and start comparing your own technologies during the call. My goal is by the end of this 8th call, you actually have a membership that is ready to launch. You also get a Facebook group for support and guidance. You can ask me questions. All questions will be answered live on the calls. That way you have access to them forever. But I had multiple people when I ran this the first time, as my beta group, that would tag me on Facebook and ask me really good questions. And I would start the next call answering their questions. So the program itself is on Tuesdays. It starts July 15th and goes through September 2nd. Like I said, you get a workbook that provides all the resources you need, templates, exercises, reflection questions, everything you need to be successful. And you know that this program is for you if you fall into one of these categories. You have no idea where to start, but you've always wanted a membership. You currently have a membership or a group program, maybe either now or in the past you've run them, but you're struggling to fill them consistently or scale them to the level that you desire. You want recurring revenue in your business, but have no idea what you would talk about and the content that you would share that keeps people in your membership or group program. And you've always wanted to start a group membership, or sorry, a group program or a membership, but are overwhelmed by technology or keep getting lost in all of the details. So, if you can see yourself in any of these bullet points, this would be a great program for you. The last slide for nuts and bolts before we open to questions is, I would welcome you to join the program now. It does start next week. I honor that that is a very short timeline, but if this is the right time, I'm not going to I have no intention of offering this program until probably January of next year. So if you want to do this, now is the time. Even if you're not able to attend all the classes, you do have the recordings. There's some options. I'm working with somebody who wants to join this class. They're a teacher, so they can't go to they can go to the first 4 classes, but not the second 4. And so I'm working with them to make this work for you. So it's normally $297, but right now I have a discount code, and the word is pilot. That's the code that saves you $100. So the class itself is only $197 for all 8 hours of training and all 8 weeks of support. And this discount code is actually valid until the very end of the day today, Wednesday, July 9th at 11:59 p.m. So the code's not valid tomorrow on the 10th. So if you want to join, now is the time. And I already mentioned this, but it starts Tuesday. The classes themselves are 1 to 2 p.m. Mountain Time. And like I said, if you're welcome to watch recordings if that time live doesn't work for you. And here's a link that'll pop in the chat in a minute. You can also scan this QR code if you're already aware that this is exactly the program for you. And with that, I appreciate your time and attention. I will go ahead and stop screen sharing and open up for questions that anyone has. I'm just going to pop this in the chat right now. Awesome. And if you don't have any questions, I'm also happy to pop off the recording in case anybody's feeling shy.